What's going on, guys? It's CV Tsukiyomi, and today I will be showing you a deck, my Narukami deck. Originally I didn't want to show it until I got my new mats, but for some reason my new mats are taking really long, and I'm starting to get sad, starting to cry over here. But anyways, we'll get on to the deck profile. I will show the Narukami deck. It is a very good deck. A lot of people have been requesting it on my channel. Now mine's incomplete, but it's still playable, and because like I'm not really gonna go out of my way to get the rest of the cards because I'm not planning to play this deck like anymore. So like I just play tested it for like I think 2 weeks, about 2 weeks, and I got a basic feel for it, and I really like the deck. So we'll go on to it. I'll explain it. So hope you guys like it. So grade 3s, I play 3 Vermillion Kaiser. You definitely want to play 4. Definitely play 4 because you want to open up with it. Its skill is very good. If you really need its skill to put yourself in a good position of winning the game. So very good card. Its skill is limit break counterblast 3. When this card attacks, it can attack all cards in the front. So it's really good. It basically can attack 2 to 3 cards, and it gets plus 3,000. Its other skill is, if you have a non-Narukami Vanguard or Rearguard, this unit gets minus 2,000. So that's kind of irrelevant, but yeah. But I mean, his other skill is really good. Basically, if you swing with him as the Vanguard, he hits everything in the front really good. It's basically meant to neg your opponent. It's basically meant to neg your opponent -4, because they're not gonna guard their rear guards because they're dropping. If they guard their rear guards, they're dumb. They're basically going to drop 2 cards to save 1 card, which is stupid. They're only going to probably protect the Vanguard or guard the Vanguard if they're at that later stage of the game. Like if they're at 4 damage, they'll probably guard because they know Narukamis are a heavy crit-based deck. So 3 Vermillion Kaisers. Good card. Next, I play 2 Thunderbreak. Only want 2 just because you really only want it in the later stage of the game, not really so much early, because his effect's really irrelevant early or mid-game. But he gets that plus 5,000, so it can be useful. But it's a trade-off because he's 10. So because I'm starting to think about actually just staying in Vermillion more. Like once I get Vermillion's effect off, I actually tend to stay in him for a little bit longer, and then later I go into the Thunderbreak because like the 11 is actually very useful. Being an 11k is very useful, so very useful. Thunderbreak. Anyways, the limit break is you get plus 5,000, and when he's placed onto a Vanguard circle, you can counterblast 2 retire a card. So retire grade 2 or less. So he's basically a Berserk Dragon, so but not as good because he's got to be in the Vanguard circle. So not the greatest. And then I play 2 of these Djinns. Now, I play this card because it's shiny. Jokes. But actually, I play this card because if there's an offset chance that you have to ride this card, then it's good because he gets the plus 5. He gets the plus 4,000. So basically, he can go up to 22, 21, whatever, 20. He can hit those sweet spot numbers really easily, as opposed to the Breakthrough Dragon. The Breakthrough Dragon, let me find out. Like he gets the plus 2,000 too. He just can't attack a Vanguard. But usually, or he gets a plus 2,000, but he can't attack a Rearguard, so that's fine. But basically, I rather play this Djinn over Breakthrough because if I have to ride him, I can still hit those sweet spot numbers as opposed to riding him. So it's not really too bad. And yeah, it's a good card. Definitely, it's got a lot of versatility to it. So if you guys definitely play this deck, definitely try this guy out because he works pretty good for me. So yeah. So on to grade 2s, I play one Shiden. He's basically a 9,000, and when he's called to a Vanguard or Rearguard circle, he binds something. So, pretty good because what you'll know is the reason why you bind some of your opponent's cards is actually because you don't want them to intercept with it. That way you can use Vermillion and kill them. Or you can do your Vermillion Thunderbolt and neg your opponent big time. So basically that's what these binding cards in the deck do. They're just used to bind down your opponent's cards so that way they don't intercept with it on your turn, and then when they come back next turn, they're not going to be able to do anything besides leave them there. So then next turn, cover your next turn, then you just go then you set up your Vermillion, and then you bind them, which is pretty good because if they know that you're going to play the Vermillion, they're going to try to get rid of some of their rear guards to intercept because it's easier on them and they won't neg as much, but this is a good way to do it. I only play one because really I only have room to play one, so yeah. But otherwise than that, it's a very good card, but it's like really inexpensive. So if you guys want to make a deck based around this and Kaiser, it's possible. So try it. Alright, next I play 3 Death Scythe. The reason why I only play 3, I don't want to play 4, because basically he's a Berserk Dragon, right? Now, the reason why I don't play 4 Berserk or Death Scythe is because you play those extra 2 Thunderbrag, and this kind of already makes it feel like you're playing 5 Berserk Dragon, so I don't want to play any more than this, because I'll always get something that can retire, so I don't want to use those Death Scythe that often. Well, I do, but I don't want to have an overload of them, so yeah. And then I play your 4 standard 10Ks. Pretty cool. Pretty easy. Smooth. And then I play 3 damage on flippers. Pretty good card. It's got neat effects. So basically, if it hits the Vanguard, you can unflip 1. So it's pretty good. Onto the grade 1s, I play 3 golds. Now, I know, like I said, it's incomplete but still playable. Definitely play 4 if you can. And it's basically your perfect guard, so pretty good. I play 2 Photon Wyvern Bombers, so just because when your opponent's at 3 more damage and that's in the Vanguard circle, it basically gets plus 4,000, so it swings for 10. So back behind Vermillion, that's 21 all the time, so pretty good. And then I play 3 more bind cards, but it's a grade 1 version of it. So I like it because it's also 7,000, but it's also got the same skill, so pretty good. And then I play 4 of the Red River Dragoons, your 8Ks. And then I play 2 Helena, which is the Airmo clone. And then I play 1 Thunder Rai Rai. Now I play the 1 Thunder Rai Rai because I only have 3 of these, and I needed to take something out, so I just decided to put in the Rai Rai, and it's okay. I mean, if I get it, it's okay, but I mean, I never really get it, so it doesn't matter. But it's just a cute card, so keep it in there for cuteness, because Narukamis need some form of cuteness. Now, starting Vanguard, I play Saishin. Basically, he's the starting Vanguard destroyer. You counterblast 1, move it to the soul, and destroy at grade 0. Pretty good card, but actually, if you guys were looking to copy this build or get something similar to it, and you only can get the 3 Vermillion, you're better off playing the Spark Kid Dragoon, because the Spark Kid Dragoon can actually help you get into that Vermillion, and it's a better choice. Now, if you had 4 Vermillions, if you had 4 of these cards, then I would definitely recommend this guy, because this guy is very good. And like I said, like I keep saying in most of my videos, in big events, it's very important to be disruptive against your opponent, because stunning them with plays that basically limit them, and you know they lose a key piece out of their deck is very important. So definitely try to play a card like that. I think a lot of decks that like that are going to be doing good. And then trigger lineup, I play 8 critical. Now, Bushiroad made a terrible call on this. If you guys know, Dragon Dancer Katrina is a stand. I feel like that should have been a critical or a draw, because like the Gold Paladin and the Narukami like stands are all really cute. But then like all the other triggers are not very cute, and I feel like Bushiroad made a terrible decision right there. 4 draw, really weird looking draw, and 4 heal, standard. So that's the deck, guys. That's my Narukami deck. Incomplete, but still very playable. I played with it a lot. Not a lot, but I've played with it and I get the idea of the deck. It's a very good deck. So basically, now I will describe the pros and cons. The pros are it's a good aggressive deck. Like it hits big, which is good, but and it also negs your opponent a lot with Kaiser. Like going Vermillion Thunderbolt is like the coolest thing ever. Like that's one of the coolest effects I've ever seen. Just swing, neg them so hard, it's really nice to have. So pretty cool. Now, Kaiser's good. He is counterblast heavy, but it does make sense because he does put in a lot of work. Now, a lot of people try to play around it by like not playing that third, like that extra rearguard attacker, which is kind of like a bad choice because if they're basically trying to limit how much they neg, so let's say they play one Vanguard and one rearguard unit in the front, right? pretty okay. They're only hitting you twice, and if you get a full field setup, you're hitting 3. So basically, they're still negging. So there's really like not really a way around this card. As bad as that sounds, there's not really a way around it because if they try to limit how many front row rear guards they play, and you have a full set of front row units, like you're basically still negging them, and they're not really getting anywhere. So just keep that in mind. Don't think that just because they're not committing to the board as quick, you're in a bad position. Also, if you do set up with Vermillion, it is very important to be aggressive. Like start putting damage on them as quick as you can early game, because then they'll start committing to the board quicker, and it sets up for the Vermillion. So, like, let's just say like you open up a good hand or something, you get the Vermillion, and you basically just throughout the game, like on turn 4 or 5, you put them at extensive amount of damage, and then they start committing to the board because they don't want to. They want to start doing the same to you. Then you play the Vermillion or something. Well, then you have Vermillion, then you limit break. So you just try to be aggressive, because once you start enticing your opponent to start committing to the board as well, then you can Vermillion Thunderbolt them, and then it ends up being really good. If you play a slow passive game, you're not going to get anywhere with Vermillion, because like if your opponent's a slow passive player, then they're not going to commit to the board very quick, and then Vermillion's going to lose his like his power play. Like, I mean, he'll always get it off, but you want to be able to just like make your opponent play those cards early. So pretty good. Like Vermillion's good, so really good. And yeah, so I mean, basically the deck has to revolve around Vermillion right now. I definitely think it's a very good aggressive deck. I definitely think it can win. I don't think I gave it enough credit in my other video, but I definitely think it can win. The only thing I don't like about the deck is there's no searching ability. Your starting Vanguard doesn't have a searching ability, which I think is like kind of bad, because if you can't search anything, you basically are at the mercy of the draw and the drive check to get everything you need, as opposed to some of the other decks that don't need that. Like, you can, because they have other searchers. But I wish they had a searcher, but I mean, if you draw right, I guess there's nothing to worry about. So there you go. Alright guys, that's my deck, so comment, rate, subscribe, peace out.